to you. A wonderful good morning to you. And we want to extend a special thanks to the sponsors of our Dean's Breakfast, our co-partners, Gulfstream Aerospace Corporation, Amy, and the Raytheon Company. Thank you. The theme of this grand get-together is the educator phenomena, exhuming genius from buried possibility. Makes you think, doesn't it? And that's just what it's designed to do. To induce means to lead one out of one thing into another.
I learned a new word this morning. The deans that you see before you this morning hail from many of our renowned historically black universities and colleges. They, along with their colleagues across the nation, represents those who are dedicated their lives to guiding the many on their chosen path, to helping to create the pearls and the oysters, and to turning the possibilities into actualities for countless young people. We are honored to introduce them to you now.
From Southern University and A&M College, the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Habib Mohammedan.
And from Alabama A&M University, the Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology, Dr. Trent Montgomery.
From Florida A&M University, Florida State University, the Dean of the School of Engineering, Dr. C.J. Chen. From Hampton University, the Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology, Dr. Eric Shepard. From Howard University, the Dean of the College of Engineering, Architecture, and Computer Science, Dr. James Johnson.
From North Carolina A&T State University, the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Joseph Monroe.
Go ahead.
From Tennessee State, the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Lonnie Sharp.
From Prairie View A&M University, the Dean of Engineering, Dr. Kendall Harris.
From Jackson State University, the Dean of the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology, Dr. Mark Hardy.
And from Morgan State University, the Dean of the School of Engineering and the Chair of the Council of Engineering Deans, to give welcoming remarks, the awesome Dr. Eugene Deloach.
Thank you, Pamela, and thank you, Dixie, for introducing my colleagues this morning and bringing us online for this fantastic, fantabulous power breakfast. And all of you out there, we welcome you this morning and thank you for showing up to make this a very successful event. We have been laboring away at this entity for a few years now, and we just could not be successful without you. So we want you to power up this morning. I don't want to use the other word, fire you up, but I want to power you up this morning so that we can start this day, which should culminate in a fantastic event this evening. So for those of you who've come to be with us this morning, we again thank you, and I thank my colleagues and associates for their tireless work that they're doing at their particular institutions. At this time now, what I'd like to do is to bring forth, with my pleasure, the co-partner from Gulfstream Aerospace Corporation, Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Daniel Garr. Mr. Garr, please come forward. Dan, we thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Deloach, for that gracious introduction and for giving me the opportunity to say a few words about the vital role of historically black colleges and universities. On behalf of Gulfstream and General Dynamics, I'm delighted to help celebrate the tremendous contributions you make to the lives of African American students. We want to congratulate you on your accomplishments and encourage you to continue the work you do, because the results of those efforts are invaluable not only to your students, but to us in the business community as well. As engineering deans of historically black colleges and universities, you educate the young men and women Gulfstream needs in order to remain a leader in business jet aviation, and that General Dynamics needs to keep our country's defenses the strongest in the world. More and more, your graduates will be our lifeblood. As baby boomers retire and the workforce shrinks, it becomes increasingly critical for us to attract and retain the many talented students who graduate from the HBCUs. The workforce has become more diverse, but needs to become even more so. And we know that our success in achieving that goal is tied directly to your success. But the needs of your students are far more important than the needs of the business community. Every day, you open the eyes of thousands of young people to new worlds of knowledge. Every day, you prepare them to become leaders in science, in business, in academia, in their local communities, and in the world at large. The role you play has always been important, but it has never been more important than it is today, because today, the opportunities for diverse leadership are greater than ever before. To fulfill those opportunities and to fulfill the hopes and dreams of the thousands of students who enter the HBCUs each year requires the hard work and the inspiration you and your faculty members provide. You are the role models for the next generation of African American leaders. In addition to our corporate appreciation, I would like to extend to you my personal thanks for your efforts. I had the opportunity to meet with many HBCU business school leaders as they toured Gulfstream last year. I learned a great deal about the numerous benefits of incorporating HBCUs into a corporate recruiting strategy. The experience also highlighted the many HBCU graduates working at Gulfstream who improve our product and inspire our workforce every day. A number of our award winners at BEYA and similar conferences are proud HBCU graduates. Their talent, drive, and character speak volumes to the exemplary education they received at your institutions. I recognize that truly supporting HBCUs takes more than corporate effort. It also requires personal effort from an individual leader who will strive to manage effectively across lines of difference while diligently removing barriers to career advancement for all, who will recognize that diversity is a critical success factor in business and will champion that message throughout the company, and who will participate and sponsor events such as this one. I'm honored to speak to you today and appreciate the opportunity to take a personal role in advancing your efforts. Congratulations again on all you have achieved and all you will continue to achieve, and thank you for allowing us to be part of your presentation this morning. Thank you.
I want to thank you, Dan, and I want to apologize because this is Dan Clare and not Dan Gar. So, Dixie, if you'll permit me to do that, I have already done it. So thank you so much.
Throughout this morning, we have the pleasure of our dean's company. And so we're going to take full advantage of it because it's not often that you get young aspiring students and thought leaders such as these in the same room. And so we want to have some learning moments with the deans. And we'd like to start with Dean Montgomery. Dean Montgomery, I understand that you have witnessed a change in how we move with remote learning. That now we can be connected all the time, or at least it seems that way when people reach you at 4 in the morning. I don't know about you guys, but it seems that way to me. And that means that we are seeing a change. Now, electrical engineering and engineering disciplines haven't been affected yet, but how are engineering colleges preparing to address this challenge?
Okay, there are a number of questions that you've asked. There are a number of questions you've asked me about the engineering discipline itself, electrical engineering, and you've asked me about the technology. And so let me just say this, that we're making transitions and getting ready for distance learning. We're beginning to offer our courses in the area of distance learning. We're working with the technology, and we're building in the technology. We're experimenting. We're trying to find out how our students will respond to the new technology. But let me tell you, down the road, I believe in the long term, what will happen is that I think computers are going to be smart enough to be a one-on-one tutor or an instructor. And so each student in the future, I believe, will have their own personal instructor. And that instructor will know exactly where they are. And so I think a lot of the problems that we're having with young folks today and weak math courses and physical science skills and things like that, I think a lot of that is going to disappear in the future as computer systems and computer knowledge bases become smarter and smarter. They're going to be able to deal with each individual student and deal with just that particular student's problem. Thank you.
Dr. Montgomery. And Dr. Mohadin, I want to ask you about how are HBCUs and as communication technologies give us that breakthrough, and as we start to see enrollment in electrical engineering going down while other disciplines such as civil and industrial engineering are going up, how much of that is a maturing of the life cycle of natural things as biotechnology becomes the great thing, as quantum physics and mechanics become a new breakthrough? How is it that we see engineering programs addressing this? Is it an issue in the lowering enrollment, or is it, in fact, just maturation?
Well, overall, the demand for engineering discipline in general is very high, but we see sometimes the cycles in one area, the enrollment is lower, and in another area, the enrollment is higher. But overall, as all the predictions indicates, within next 10 years, the demand for engineering fields across the board are increasing, and especially for quality engineering, that what we are really trying to recruit more, retain more, and graduate, because that is very important that we have for all the fields. Although maybe sometimes there is a surplus in one field, like for example, if we see sometimes in electrical engineering, but that is temporary. It's not something that is lasts for a long time.
I know that's great to hear for all of us electrical engineers who are in school out there, all of you who are doing that. Thank you so much. A learning moment with the deans.
And Dr. Mohammadine, don't get comfortable. Please join us to present an award. Thank you. The first award recipient we are about to meet manages the quality systems for the Delphi Electrical Center at Delphi Automotive. He is responsible for improvements in computer satisfaction and quality and for maintaining the plant certification status. He is also responsible for the activities of all salaried and hourly technicians in the quality and metrology lab groups in both business units. He is considered Delphi's ambassador of education, where he is involved with the local high school in Jackson, Mississippi through the first robotics program began in the year 2000. He organized the students and ensured that Delphi engineers participated to build a competitive team. A true mentorship bond was formed that remains today. The perennially second place finisher school won first place in the regional championship and was officially honored by their governor. Our honoree also serves as a very key player on the university relations team and has been instrumental in ensuring that Delphi continues a strong relationship with Southern University. We are delighted to present this 2008 BEYA Award of Special Recognition to Dr. Terrence Mosley.
Thank you very much. My parents set down powerful examples for successful living that were imprinted in my mind during my formative years. They modeled that education comes first, and no matter where it leads me, that they would be there to support me. They showed that giving back to the community and reaching back to help others along the way was always the right thing to do, and that if you keep a close relationship with God and put in the hard work to go along with it, anything is possible. These lessons proved true during my undergraduate and graduate experiences at Southern University and Georgia Tech, respectively, and also in my professional career at Delphi. So in very humbly accepting this award, I want to thank them for always knowing how to bring out the best in me. Thank you very much.
To present our next award recipient, please welcome the Commandant of the United States Cadet Academy, Rear Admiral Daniel Neptune.
Good morning. The next award recipient is currently serving in the Custom Microcontroller Product Engineering Manager at Freestyle Motorola. In this role, she is responsible for leading her engineering team in jointly developing state-of-the-art microcontrollers with some of Freescale's largest and most strategic customers. Products under her responsibility gross $65 million in sales annually and have grown at a rate of 12% annually in the last 5 years. As a manager, she is extremely focused on development of employees in her team. She is the benchmark in terms of providing support, access, feedback, and mentoring for employees under her leadership. Over her career, she has been active in diversity and inclusion, including a period where she was the diversity champion for one of our product divisions. She is also active in Freescale's Women Leadership Team and has represented Freescale in the Texas Conference for Women. I'm delighted to present this 2008 BEYA Special Recognition Award to Ms. Michelle Milburn.
Thank you. When I was in 3rd grade, I was transferred from a private Catholic school to the neighborhood public school. The public school was integrated, and while the private school was segregated and we had no books. The first week at the public school, I refused to carry the books and was placed in a slow learners class. I was frightened at this huge adjustment and was sent to the office crying. My parents were called. My mom came and forced me to take my books and to get back to class. Defiant, I told the teacher, I don't want to be in this class with these loud, drooling, slow learners. So she said, when you show me that you're smart enough to move to another class, you can. That was the first time I connected what you know with where you can go. And that's how I got here today.
Amen.
I'm grateful to my parents, my mother in particular, and to the adamant teacher for teaching me this most important lesson about learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Here to present our next award is the Command Sergeant Major for the United States Army Research Development and Engineering Command, Hector G. Marin.
It is my distinct honor to present this award to Yolanda Hinton of the U.S. Army Research Development and Engineering Command's Army Research Laboratory in recognition for her outstanding technical contribution to this command, the Army, and our great nation. Mrs. Hinton is a skilled mechanical engineer and has received recognition for her dedicated research on the following: applications of acoustic emissions, electronics and infrared thermograph to detection of defects and damage in composite materials and to process monitoring, nonlinear acoustics for measuring fatigue, damage in metal structures, and electrical potential methods for structural health monitoring. She has authored or co-authored more than 35 technical papers and presentations and has been invited lecturer at conferences and short courses. She has served as member and chairman of several technical committees and has presented the Army on technical working groups and panels. She's an active member of the Tidewater Chapter Tuskegee Airmen, the Black Alumni of MIT, the MIT Educational Council, and the National Technical Association. I am proud to present this 2000-year BEYA Special Recognition Award to Yolanda Hinton.
When I was asked to develop a story about when I first came to understand the powerful role of education toward success, I was stumped. Nothing came to mind. Now, I know that education was a crucial element in my upbringing, but when put to the test, nothing stood out. Bizarre. Or is it? Isn't that the point of the adductor phenomenon? You see, now that I think about it, my home and community were so completely embracing of educational excellence that it was just expected without fanfare. I was encouraged and reinforced and celebrated for learning, but no one made it seem that I was special. I was just expected to learn, and so I did. This is the nature of expectation. You just know that someone can achieve, and you do nothing to signal an ounce of doubt. I never thought I'd say it, but I'm very grateful for embracing outstanding by not standing out. Thank you.
And here to present our next honoree is the Vice President of Engineering for Lockheed Martin Aeronautics, Mr. Thomas Blakely.
Thank you, and good morning. He began what would become a 28-year career with Lockheed Martin as a mechanic on the original top-secret F-117 stealth fighter team. He is the director today of the workforce diversity for Lockheed Martin Aeronautics Company. In addition to the F-117, he worked on other major aircraft programs, such as the U-2, the F-22, the F-35, and classified secret platforms in the legendary Skunk Works. As a member of our company's senior leadership team, he is in a key position to apply his knowledge in manufacturing, systems engineering, avionics, and program management. But he has also taken a special interest in students of the Tuskegee University Aerospace Engineering Department and was absolutely instrumental in establishing a partnership between the school and our Advanced Development Program's Conceptual Design Organization. As a result of his leadership, a student team from the university entered its first design competition. I am honored and delighted to present this 2008 Black Engineer of the Year Award of special recognition to Mr. Julian Lewis.
Just stand right over here on the side of the white guy.
I was raised in a third world environment. I grew up mainly barefooted with hand-me-down clothes, but with an abundance of love from home. When my parents migrated to the US, they left 7 kids behind with relatives until they found a home for us. After 5 years, we were reunited in a 2-bedroom apartment in the South Bronx. I landed just in time to be part of the grassroots of hip-hop. Pier 63 is where you would find I, DJ Jazzy J, and Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5. The streets were tough. It was all about hustling music. Oh yeah, school. English was foreign to my immigrant tongue, but I was a master in math. My parents and teachers encouraged me to pursue my crazy hip-hop dreams, but always have a plan B. Plan B was Aviation High School in Queens, New York. The implementation of Plan B required me getting up at 4:30 every morning and taking a bus and 2 trains to compete academically and technically in a predominantly white school. The journey to this stage today is all about Plan Bs, anchored in a solid foundation of education. I am truly grateful. Thank you all.
Okay, he brought a crew with him. It is my great pleasure now to introduce our co-partner from the Raytheon Company, the Senior Vice President for Human Resources, Mr. Keith Peden.
Thank you for that introduction. I think there's probably a lot of Plan Bs out there that I know I represent that. Let me speak from the heart for a moment here. My prepared remarks are not going to be scripted, so what you get is what you get. I bring you the greetings of the Raytheon Company that co-sponsors this breakfast annually. Our commitment to education is our only focused corporate contribution from a commitment standpoint. We are dedicated to the improvement of math and science in U.S. institutions and are appreciative of the role that the historic black colleges and universities play in that commitment. So I bring you the greetings of Bill Swanson, who is our CEO. He will be with us soon, this evening, and the 72,000 employees of Raytheon Corporation. We have a commitment to building an inclusive culture at Raytheon, one that's founded on a basis of respect and integrity. And the first tenet of respect is to now acknowledge one's presence. So I acknowledge all of you today, but I'd like to spend a special moment in acknowledging the men and women who serve the country. So if I could ask the service people in this room to stand up and receive a round of applause for all that they do for us. Thank you very much for the contributions that you make to this country. We make an assumption that education will always be there for us, but it's through these proud men and women that enable us to have that ability and that right within this country. We thank you for the award nominees and recognitions for the Raytheon employees, but we congratulate all the other recipients here today and this evening. It's important to note that these people represent the next generation of innovators, something that's important to carry us forward in a competitive world and global economy that we compete with, ultimately for talent and for our way of life going forward. We recognize and acknowledge the deans of the historic black colleges and universities for the innovative role that they create and lead in inspiring the youth of America going forward. So we thank you very much for that commitment. Raytheon's commitment will be enduring. We will continue to support education, and we will support the institutions that support that going forward. So thank you very much.
So we have an opportunity for another learning moment with first Dr. Chen. Dr. Chen, We see a much more competitive landscape as students vie now to be accepted in the educational institution of their choice. Could you tell us some of the things that you see that are effective for a student to do in preparing themselves not only at that admissions process, but during college to really enter the workforce with an edge?
Thank you. I think the question is the most effective way of preparing the student and during the college and their admissions. I think one of the most difficult ways to solve this problem is to increasing our high school hours. I don't know you know it or not. In our country, we have 180 days of high school days, while in the Europe, like England, France, Deutsch, they have 220 days of schooling. So just adding up from junior high to senior high, you are missing about 1 year of additional education.
More school.
So, but that is not practical. I don't think our country would be able to change that. Now, that is because our forefathers need you to go back home to help harvesting and other things. So the practical way is that to outreach the high school and junior high. So we target the fifth grader. Fifth grader was more susceptible to persuasions and their career decisions. So I think a fifth grader, we ought to have an outreach. Now, during the college, I don't know, many of you know it or not, from engineering freshman to engineering sophomore, we have an attrition rate nationwide about 40%. So we lose a lot of our students intended for engineering. So we got to change the college curriculum so that we can outreach the first year student, because they normally take the general study so that they have not exposed to engineering curriculum. So we got to change our engineering curriculum, and this is echoed with the yesterday's lunch mark of Dean James Johnson about the new order for the STEMs.
Thank you. Did I hear some sighs of relief that we don't have to go to the cotton field or go to school more days? But it's good for you. Okay, we have to talk about it, Dr. Shepard. You know, as more jobs go offshore, can you look into your crystal ball and tell us what are those areas that the U.S. is going to continue to lead and the new areas where we're going to assume leadership?
Thank you. First of all, I have to say it's exciting to be an engineer because we like to take on these sorts of challenges. And our job here amongst the deans is to work with a lot of the companies and agencies represented here at this event to make sure that our students can be leaders in the future. And the areas are somewhat obvious. They're nanotechnology, alternative energy, computing, material science, communication, et cetera. And we work together. In fact, we've talked a lot about working together to do that. And there's one other area that I think is critical, and here's where industry can be a huge help to us. We need to make sure that we're producing students that can make sure that U.S. manufacturing can compete on the global, in the global economy. And I think we're sitting here with a beautiful example with these G500s in front of us, these nice Gulfstream airplanes. We want to make sure that we can compete in all areas, from aerospace to electrical, et cetera, and it's very difficult, but we work hard to make sure we can do that.
Sounds like a really bright future out there, doesn't it?
Yes. Thank you. Okay. The good news is for the students out there, get past your freshman year, because if you get past that freshman year, the chances that you're going to graduate are even higher because attrition rates drop. Okay. So to make our next presentation, please welcome from Corning, Dr. Jun Ho.
Well, it's truly a great honor to be here, to be with somebody who is really special. Dr. Petzold joined Corning in 2001, first as a senior research scientist, and recently was promoted to project manager. Over the last 7 years, she has made significant technical contributions to Corning. She's also a great leader and is widely considered one of the driving forces in creating a holistic program in direct support of our business. She was key in shaping the focus and direction of her project. I'm proud to present this 2008 BEYA Special Recognition Award to Dr. Odessa Petzold.
Thank you. When I was 10, I came upon photographs in our family album that told a story about my parents' high school graduation. They grew up very poor at a time and place where high school education was not wasted on girls and was only available to the affluent. Yet my mother was the first girl in her family to attend high school, and my father was the first to graduate from a junior college. They were ambitious and hardworking, and they taught those values to me. They showed me that education is a gift that would give me the license to challenge the status quo.
Amen.
In Belize, I finished the highest education available, which was a 2-year junior college. There were no other institutions of higher learning. Study abroad was not affordable. Inspired by my parents and armed with an academic scholarship, I traveled to 2 countries in pursuit of education, and I am the first in my family to achieve a PhD. This blazed the path for my younger siblings who have graduate degrees in civil engineering and information technology. My parents' story motivated and inspired a revolution, and for this I am forever thankful. Thank you.
Congratulations, that is awesome. She went to 2 countries of education. Some of us won't go across the street. So we need to work on that, Black America. Okay, joining me on the stage to present the next award is Dr. Dean Montgomery. Our next recipient to be specially recognized is Senior Geotechnical Engineer with the Global Energy Business of Black & Veatch. He is a recognized technical expert within Black & Veatch and the engineering community. His knowledge and understanding of complex engineering programs and his ability to deliver excellent solutions make him a highly sought-after consultant and a project team member. Furthermore, he has developed computer programs for the design of stormwater conveyance pipes and inlets that have resulted in construction cost savings, design efficiencies, and improved constructability of this type of project for Black & Veatch. During his career, he has contributed more than 50 projects across the United States that have been essential to meeting the clean water and energy needs of the local communities. The 2008 BEYA Special Recognition Award is presented with great pride to Mr. Gurma Murgia.
I would like to thank BEYA for this recognition and honor. I would also like to thank my wife and family for sharing this special moment with me, and Black & Veatch for supporting and nominating me. Let me start with a little background about myself. My beautiful wife and I immigrated to the US from Ethiopia. Between 1974 and 1991, Ethiopia was ruled by a communist military dictatorship and was going through political turmoil. I was a first-year student at Addis Ababa University when Haile Selassie, the former king of Ethiopia, was overthrown in 1974. Following the military dictatorship takeover, several of my friends were killed during our opposition of injustice, and I was imprisoned and tortured. A 5-year engineering college program took me 8 years to complete because of the political problems. I believed, even during those hardships, I believed in excellence and hard work. I graduated with the best grade point average from the civil engineering department. My academic standing in college was the key for me to be able to leave Ethiopia safely. My desire for freedom and opposition to what's wrong brought me to the United States. When I came to the US, my educational background, my will to work hard and succeed, and one small suitcase was all I had. What a blessing is it for me to be here today for this honor with my children and family. Thank you very much.
And joining me to present the next award is Dean C.J. Chen. Our honoree joined Parsons in 1996 and in 10 years rose to vice president. Now managing $35 million in revenue and directing 63 employees, he is responsible for leading the growth and development of Parsons' Water and Infrastructure Eastern Division for Georgia, North and South Carolina, New York, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Missouri. In earning his doctorate in engineering management since joining Parsons, he became the first, if not the only, candidate whose dissertation was unanimously approved at its initial defense. That's quite good. He served as program director of the $670 million capital improvement program for water and wastewater projects in Fulton County, Georgia. In this capacity, he actively led and directed the Equal Business Opportunity Outreach Program to market the county's projects to minority firms. Minority participation in the Public Works Department rose by 3x from less than 10% in 2003 to 34% in 2005, largely through his efforts. We are delighted to present this 2008 BEYA Special Recognition Award to Dr. Anthony Taylor.
I was born in the Bahamas where the sun almost always shines. On those days when it did not, my mood often soured. One day my father said to me, "You must learn to make your own sunshine." At first I was confused, thinking I can't make a sun. But while I was focusing on the result, my parents were focused on the process. As I struggled to find the right balance between hard work and higher education, my parents kept up their gentle persuasion for learning. It wasn't long before their loving instruction became my lifelong passion, revealing opportunities to achieve that have led me to this stage today. I promise you that the list of achievements will only grow because I'm learning by the light in the eyes of my parents. I am grateful to Inez and Anthony Sr. for getting it right. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great humility and gratitude that I introduce our truly regal keynote speaker. In private life, he is known by the name of Dr. Kingsley Fletcher. He is a Sopular, which means pathfinder and waymaker of the Say, Kingdom of Ghana, West Africa. Respected as a visionary, he is sought by many heads of state and global leaders for his wisdom, counsel, spiritual insight in international relations, economic, community, and social development. His life and influence spans more than 100 countries and 5 continents. Through his well-known work He is an author, humanitarian, historian, minister, and respected international advisor. It is indeed an honor and my pleasure to welcome to our stage His Royal Majesty, King Ahmadi I.
Good morning, everyone. It's with great joy that I come to you this morning. And it will be right for me to bring you greetings from the land of our forefathers and also from the country of my birth, Ghana, and especially of the people of the state. Once upon a time, we were called the shy state. And to many in the country of Ghana, we're still the shy, until recently when we decided to go back and take claim of our original and traditional name. I am very impressed by what I've seen and what I hear. And I'm grateful to the leadership of Dr. Tyrone Taborn for his passion and desire to see people of African descent recognized for their achievement in the field of engineering. I wish and I pray that this will not be kept here, but it will become something that Africa will see. There are many on our continent who needs hope. There are many in our villages that need to see this. And I wish CNN will cover this and allow our nations to see that people of African descent are not only people who are buried with diseases and just about to die. Africa and people of African descent and those of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, they are achieving and making history. And I congratulate all of you for such a feat. I too am an electrical engineer. My story began when my mother dreamt that I would be an engineer. My father thought I'll be a lawyer, and I nursed a desire to be a doctor. But in the end, my mother won. I remember in the 70s, when I finished school and wanted to further my education, I received a letter from one of the universities here in New York, Rochester University. And my desire was to pursue aerospace engineering. I remember going to the scholarship secretariat and discussing my desire and future with them. And the one in charge looked at me with a smile and said, "It's impossible. We hardly have airplanes as a nation, and you're going to study aerospace engineering." I was partially crushed, but not permanently. From that moment on, I decided that one day, at God's own timing, I would do something for my people. And my desire is not just for the place that I came from, which is a cess state, but I'll do something for the people of Ghana. I remember when my teachers told me many times, "You will not amount to much." I remember when they said to me, "You will not become one of the excellent students in class because of your handicap." But I proved them wrong. Within a short time, I attained double doctorate, and I'm at the moment pursuing my third doctorate right here at the University of Massachusetts. So from engineering all the way, but the vision and the desire that I carry is still burning my heart today as ever, for which I stand before you to say, What you are doing here and what you've achieved should not be kept here. Why don't we write this history in the hearts of the sons and daughters who are alive so that they'll have hope that those who've expired didn't leave without a future? You are the leaders of tomorrow, but you have proven to us that you are truly leaders of today. Your advancement and achievement and what you've done so far worth the honor. I stand before you today and I say to you, don't let all of your achievements stay within this context. Do something before you die, and you can help change the lives and destiny of many. Engineering, as we see it today, is leading and driving the world to development. Africa too, as my dream for Africa, is that one day Africa will be partner of development. Not only those who always reach out and expect something for nothing. We have intelligent people on the continent. We have children who are aspiring to be great, but they're looking for people like you who will mentor them, inspire them, and tell us your story that it is possible. Since none of us chose where we wanted to be born and the places we wanted to call home, but all this came as a package of God's own design. Let us use these moments that we have on earth to leave a mark and also to improve the destiny of many. You can do it, and I believe you stand a chance to change lives, if not the continent of Africa, forever. This coming July, we are hosting what we call African Technology Conference. The purpose of the African Technology Conference is to bring technologists, engineers like you, excellent ones like you, educators and students alike, the business community and venture capitalists, to come and dialogue and decide the best way forward. Africa should not die, and I have confidence that in my lifetime, Africa will emerge. We don't want to become resource for the world only to take, but we also want some of our resources to help change an entire continent. And this African Technology Conference that we expect to take off in a good and a most successful way, I believe will do something positive in the lives of the people of Africa, and also give hope to those who are coming out of schools or colleges and wondering if Africa will ever play a role or a part in this global technology innovation that is taking place everywhere. I invite you to join us. We have excellent speakers, an excellent atmosphere. I was so pleased to hear my friend talk about the Bahamas, but in case you don't know, God lives in Africa, especially Ghana. We have excellent speakers, as I've said, and I'm glad that Dr. Tyrone will be joining us, and also Mr. Atkins of IBM will be joining us. Dr. Clay of MIT will be joining us. Roland Martin of CNN will be joining us. And also other, Mr. Hanna will be joining us, Silicon Valley Graphics, and others will be joining us. And I encourage you to visit with us, spend a wonderful vacation with us, but more than anything, help contribute to change the lives of many. Africa shall live, but it will only live through leaders like you, whose vision and dream is to see technology go beyond the classroom into making lives of many better. I trust you respond to the challenge. Do something before you die. God bless you. What in the world is a fellow Ghanaian who lives in America and works for an American company doing in China? Well, like all of us, African Americans, every place on the globe is our home because of the originality of our roots. And I'm proud to present this next honoree. He began his intrigue with computers when he was presented with one of those scaled-down Sinclair knockoffs whose greatest virtue was to stimulate curiosity. But what a great virtue that was, because our recipient went on to become a software engineer, a software engineering manager, and to advance in the field of system software development for nearly 20 years. Now, he's the Director of Software Engineering in the Research and Development Center of the EMC Corporation in the People's Republic of China. In this capacity, he is well poised for the next generation information technology revolution, because one has to be truly innovative in a country with nearly 1.5 billion people who are eager to join the information age. I am proud, and I mean very proud, to present this 2008 BEYA Special Recognition Award to my fellow man, countryman, Augustine Gus Amegazi.
My parents, both self-employed, taught us the values of work, hard work, and perseverance. My older siblings set high academic standards that left me with no choice but to excel, to do better. In my family, college education was not a multiple choice question. As a teenager, I had an insatiable curiosity to learn how gadgets work. I destroyed every single wristwatch I owned in the pursuit of knowledge. I got into computers by accident, but knew almost instantly that I would be spending a long time working on computer technology. I am here today because of nurturing parents, a strong curiosity, and ravenous desire to learn. Thank you very much.
Opportunity for another learning moment as we continue with our show this morning. Like a follow-up question, Dr. Shepard. You know, 30% of African Americans graduate from historically black universities. But now the landscape is way more competitive as majority schools vie for our best and brightest as well. So what's the trade-off as we, as parents and as students, make these choices of historically black versus majority schools?
Thank you. Choosing your school is always a difficult thing. I think we have a lot of students here, I think, made some great choices by choosing HBCUs. I think students and parents need to think in terms of their career goals, and we're all accredited programs, so we're competitive with everybody in that sense. But I think they need to look further in terms of the cultural aspects that they can learn at an HBCU and our long history of leadership, both in industry and the military. And I think that's what's special about HBCUs. We don't just produce good engineers, we produce engineering leaders, and we really do expect our students to go out there and do great things. And I think that's what tips the things over to the HBCUs.
Go HBCUs. And Dean Johnson, you know, now as interdisciplinary collaboration between areas of engineering, physics, all the social sciences are required just to solve one problem. What is it that engineering education is doing and which its students do to prepare for this more collaborative and interdisciplinary environment?
Well, in addition to classroom learning, we're teaching our students teamwork, leadership, the importance of effective communications, and what constitutes ethical and professional behavior. These are the attributes necessary to work in an interdisciplinary environment. At Howard, we have two things that we do for incoming students. They participate in our Leadership Institute and our Adopt a Team program. The Leadership Institute constitutes a keynote address and a series of workshops that deals with the skills I just mentioned. In fact, last year's keynote address was given by Linda Gooden of Lockheed Martin and the 2006 BEYA Engineer of the Year. Students get to show and continue to develop these skills in two things. Number one, a lot of them participate in undergraduate research. And secondly, we have a capstone design course. The capstone design course is a real-world experience, and the projects are often provided by industry. During the capstone design course, many times we have students not only from engineering, architecture, from the business school, and also from arts and humanities. We think this is a good way for our students to get prepared for the world of work.
You go, Howard. Lots of exciting things going out there. Dr. Monroe, what are you hearing from corporations, many of the great ones that are represented here, about what are their expectations and feedback about students and what they want right now?
The primary feedback we're getting right now is, can you send us some more of those great students?
That's what we're talking about.
But prior to that, some years back, we used to hear that our students needed help in presentation skills, interviewing skills, and professional ethics. And to solve these problems, we made some changes in our curriculums at the universities, but more importantly, corporations that are represented here like Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and the Boeing Company teamed with us and came to our campuses and assisted us in preparing our students where they were deficient. And now we're still hearing the comments. Send us some more of those great students.
Send us some more. Thank you.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Hope our students are listening. At this time, I'd like to ask Dean Shepard to come to the stage to join us for the next presentation. Now, our next honoree, she is a graduate student, oh, and she's so bad, pursuing her PhD in biomedical engineering at Carnegie Mellon University. She is a recipient of the 2007 Graduate Student Service Award, selected among 4,200 graduate students at Carnegie Mellon. She is a key leader with the annual conference of the National Society of Black Engineers. In 2006, she participated in the East Asia and Pacific Summer Institute for graduate students at Seoul National University in Seoul, South Korea. She was also selected to participate in a prestigious training program in cardiovascular bioengineering within the National Institutes of Health and is starting a new pre-fellowship program with the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. In bioengineering, she has presented at 4 conferences, published 2 papers, and is co-author on a book chapter that is presently in progress. And she's a student. She's a student. She's bad. She is co-applicant on submissions of 3 patents in very different work areas. And it gives me so much pleasure to present this 2008 BEYA Award for Student Leadership to this awesome young sister, Miss Ariel Drummond.
When I was younger, visits to the dentist sparked an interest in a career in orthodontics. I had, however, no idea what it would take. In high school, I was apprehensive about the sciences until I enrolled in physics and found it surprisingly easy. So I qualified for the honors section of the class.
Oh, girl.
There, my teacher lit up the world with passion. While the lessons were difficult, his zeal provoked in me an attitude of conquest. By the time I entered college, I was no longer afraid of science, but was majoring in it, and even dared to teach it in the Upward Bound program. The more I charged, the braver I became, and now, as a PhD candidate in biomedical engineering, I am astonished that I'm being honored for the following my bliss. Nevertheless, I am grateful to my passionate teachers for their contagious commitment and to the deans for this honor. Thank you.
This is surprisingly easy, huh?
She's something.
Now joining me to make the next presentation for our honoree is Dean Johnson. Now, our celebrant for this award holds a U.S. patent for the development of chromium electrode catalysts. But she's most recognized for a catalytic position as Education Director and Chief of Educational Programs Office at the Glenn Research Center of NASA. It was in this capacity that she created a program for middle school students called New Approach to Self-Achievement. Just happens to spell out NASA, NASA. This program was designed to prepare families for new methods to advance academic development among students, and it has a parent-student workshop component on Saturdays. And under her leadership, the Glenn Research Center was selected to manage 3 education programs in NASA with an operating budget of $17 million. This amount included the largest budgets under K through 12 programs, NES and Science, Engineering, Mathematics, and Aerospace Academy. In addition, the Glenn Research Center was selected under her guidance to manage programs for motivating undergraduates in science and technology, which provides scholarship opportunities for minority students in the STEM disciplines. I am extremely delighted to present this bad 2008 BEYA Award winner for K through 12 education leadership to Miss Joanne Charleston.
You know, my mother had a unique ability to draw from me talents I didn't know I had. She often gave me chores that were suitable for older children. She also often bought me books that were 2 grades higher than at my level. And as a single parent, she never gave me a single chance to say I can't. And although my mother only lived to see me work at NASA for my first 3 years, I would always hear her voice saying to me, "Never let anyone say to you that you can't achieve. Always know that you can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you." And I am so grateful to the educators in my life and to my family and my friends that has encouraged, prayed, and supported me. I am grateful for my staff and my management and all of those who helped to support me to make a difference in the lives of our youth. And for that, I want to say thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite Dean Monroe to join me for our next presentation. Isn't this wonderful, just seeing all these awesome people? Do we feel the energy? Congratulations, Dean Monroe. We want to introduce to you the Assistant Vice Provost for Education at Carnegie Mellon University, whose global responsibilities include Qatar. For her exemplary mentoring of undergraduate students, you just saw one, her leadership in creating a nurturing environment for minority student educators, and for building faculty trust, she was awarded the 1999 Undergraduate Advising Award. Here are some results. She increased the university students' retention rate from 30% to 90%, 90%. Okay, yeah, you can clap for that. And the 6-year graduation rate from 50% to 79% between 1996 and 2006. Over the years, she has developed a range of support services, including Summer Bridge Program, a summer incentive program, and a summer program to motivate underrepresented high school students to enter STEM fields. This Summer Academy for Minority Scholars has been recently accepted by the Association of American Colleges and Universities as an exemplary education program for increasing the representation of minorities in the academy. For these and a host of other accomplishments, far too numerous to mention her, I am so proud again to present this 2008 BEYA Award for college-level excellence to a passionate and awesome woman, Dr. Gloria Hill.
My grandparents had 6 children, but they did not graduate from high school. 2 of my aunts, opened a hotel in Chattanooga in 1938, which allowed my mother to attend Morris Brown College. My mom completed her BA in sociology in 1945 and began working to support my Uncle John, who graduated from Morris Brown and earned a PhD in special education. My mom and my uncle then supported another aunt who earned a BA in elementary education from Central State in 1958. My mom went back to earn her master's degree in social work from Carnegie Mellon University in 1958. So if there is a phenomenon that has shaped my values towards education, I was born into it. I am frequently struck by how what my mom instilled in me in just 19 short years had become the guiding principles of my life. I am grateful to my family and to Carnegie Mellon for the opportunity to give back what has so generously been given to me. Thank you.
Joining me for our next presentation is Dean Hardy. The second recipient of the College Level Promotion in Education Award is Professor of Operations Research and Financial Engineering at Princeton University. Just a small school on the coast there. In all the years he's been in academia, he's supervised the research of successful PhD Black candidates, all of whom are now on faculties at major universities. In decades of mentoring minority and women mathematicians, he has done more than foster a new, more diverse generation of mathematical scholars. What he's done is created a community of colleagues who support and inspire each other's work, including his own. He was the first African American at Princeton undergraduate who graduated as an undergraduate from Princeton to become a full professor at the university. He also founded and continues to provide leadership for the annual conference of African American researchers in mathematical sciences, now in its 12th year. His mentoring philosophy grows out of Bell Labs' approach. It's where, out of the notion that cumulative small steps will lead eventually to momentous change. And I'm delighted to honor this incredible educator. I present this 2008 BEYA Award for College Level Promotion of Education to Professor William Massey.
Thank you. I came of age during the post-Sputnik era. When I was a 7th grade student in St. Louis, Missouri, I was given an exam involving the type of abstract reasoning that I would later see in a high school algebra course. Not only did I get an A on this test, but I scored well beyond everybody else in the class. This is when I knew that I wanted to become a mathematician. I now use mathematics to create algorithmic tools that help engineers and business managers make strategic, data-driven decisions. I dedicate this award to my parents, Juliet and Richard Massey Sr., and my good fortune of having worked at Bell Laboratories. The decades of the 70s, 80s, and 90s at Bell Labs were for the critical mass of Black scientists and engineers working there, what the Harlem Renaissance was for Black artists and poets. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's my turn to do some interviewing, deans. And I'm going to start with Dr. Hardy. We're going to give you a chance to sit down, or maybe we won't. Okay. Now, we've seen a lot of awesome young people here today. And in today's millennial generation, we know that our students are accustomed to moving very quickly into application practice, probably something to do with the games, and we call it sometimes a microwave generation. Now, as an educator, what is your view of the relative value of engineering education concentrating on gaining the underlying principles and knowledge versus the applied engineering principles?
Specific knowledge of engineering is the foundation of engineering education. I think that an integral part of the student's learning is acquiring the ability to apply the knowledge that they learn to specific real-world problems. And this is particularly true for those engineers who become project managers and those that become systems engineers. Engineers now, they need the soft skills to be able to integrate user information with technological opportunities. They need to be able to deal with financial constraints as well as constraints that deal with scheduling. And they need to understand the difference between principle and practice. At Jackson State University, we give students those kind of skills in our senior level courses. They also have the opportunities to work with researchers, not only in engineering, but they have the opportunity to work with researchers in areas such as computational sciences and areas such as bioengineering and nanotechnology. So I think that the final answer to that is the ability to acquire knowledge is very valuable as it relates to the skills that students need in today's engineering society.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hardy. Okay. Now, while I'm here, Dr. Sharp, I'm going to ask you your question. Excuse me. Now, those of us in the engineering community, educators, we know the National Academy of Engineering on the Engineering 2020 report, which stresses the need for leadership principles in education, and some of you have touched on this previously. Now, the engineers in this room already are or certainly will be moving into leadership positions at some point in their career. And of course, it depends on how you define leadership. They currently may be doing many of those things. But Dean Sharp, what are the things that are effective in gaining and practicing leadership skills in the academic environment that our students can do today?
Thank you. Let me say, first of all, that leadership principles, as you know, is stressed throughout the curriculum. Matter of fact, two of my colleagues have already talked about leadership principles and how important it is to all of our students. The most important thing that we have to remember that to be a good leader, you have to understand the environment or the context in which you're working in. And so in general, you have to be contextual fluid. You must have contextual fluidity. You must be in a position to be able to move around a situation and understand that environment. You find that in today's society, most of us have to have emotional intelligence. We have to be in a position to understand ourselves and how we can participate in the overall decision making. We must be facilitators. And when you start talking about being a facilitator, you have to have the ability to process information and make decisions in a proactive manner. And the key thing about participating in that process is that you have to be effective in terms of being able to develop processes. You must be a visionary. To be a leader, you must be in a position to lead others. And people want to be able to know where you're headed. And so you have to have a vision. You have to be a motivator. And to be a motivator, you find that you have to help people to understand how important this situation is to them. And as you move forward to make that particular decision, to make that environment much better. And last but not least, you must be a talent manager, you must be a coach. You must be in a position to help motivate people to get the best out of them. And the person I like to give an example of is a person at Tennessee State University. His name was John Merritt. Big John Merritt, they call him. Matter of fact, John Merritt had 30 years as a winning coach at Tennessee State University. And so if you develop all those kinds of skills, you'll be a great leader, like our coach, John Merritt at TSU. Thank you.
Okay, and now for our last question, Dixie, you're asking the last question.
Our last learning moment. Oh, now she wants me to ask this question because my esteemed co-host and I decided that we did not want to waste the last question.
That's correct.
So we got one that we want a real comprehensive answer. Don't just tell me I got one or two people. Okay, I know that's going to be a thing. So, you know, this body represents an august body, leaders in thought. And I look at him, and I don't see any women.
Well.
And we just wondered how soon and how we're going to look up here, and just like at this conference where we look to equal representation, that we might see on august bodies at the higher levels of education when more women are matriculating in education than men. When are we going to see some folks, my esteemed colleagues, sitting up here?
Take your time. Take your time.
That is a tough question. You see, they set me up for that question, don't you? One of the newest things up here, they said, give that to Kendall. Yeah, that's a good question for him. But really, that is a great question, and it's a question that we must answer not only amongst the leadership amongst the deans, but leadership in industry and as well as leadership in government agencies and things of that nature. But to first answer the question about the deans, come July, we will have two, hopefully, optimistically, we'll have two new deans joining us, both females. These deans will be Dr. Pamela Lee Mack from Virginia State University. And Dr. Sandra DeLoach from Norfolk State University. So they'll be coming online.
So it's coming. Okay.
So in 1 year, in less than a year,
okay,
we'll go from 0% to 15%.
Okay. And he knows math. Okay.
So the math is looking in our favor. But we must, and I think it's a challenge as deans that we look at in mentoring our female faculty to keep them on the track of taking administrative positions as they come up. At Prairie View University, we have approximately 60 faculty members, and 5 of them are females. And I make it no secret that within the college that I've watched my female faculty making sure they're successful, making sure they make it through the tenure process. I try to put them in positions where they will be in leadership positions. So those are the type of things, mentoring, taking one under the wing. Our Dean of Deans, Dean DeLoach, did it for Dr. Mack. She came from out of his shop at Monroe, at his university. So I think we all will follow suit of that, and we will do more mentoring and bring more females through. So the numbers will change.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
He pulled that off, did he not?
Okay. Dr. Mack, stand up. Pamela. There she is. She'll be up here next year.
And we look forward to that. As we continue to honor incredible people, please welcome the commander of Naval Sea Systems Command, NAVSEA, Vice Admiral Paul Sullivan.
Thank you. Okay, everybody stand up. Come on, stand up. Shake your arms around. Okay, sit down. We're an hour and a half into this. I'll try to be brief. Well, good morning. It's an honor for me to stand before you, and it's an honor to be in front of these great gentlemen behind me. We've had about a 2.5-year relationship going now. I represent the technical side of the Navy. I think I'm the senior engineer in uniform right now, and I represent the Naval Sea Systems Command. We do the ships. I represent, hopefully, the Naval Air Systems Command, who do the aircraft, and the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command. Together, we design, build, research, test, deliver, and maintain ships, submarines, aircraft carriers, fighter jets, bombers, helicopters. We fly satellites. We build radios. We build radars. We build missiles. And hopefully next week we're going to shoot down a satellite.
That's true. We all hope we do.
And even if we miss, we do neat stuff. I want to talk to you today about technical leadership. And I'm talking about leadership. Technical leadership is a very special subset of leadership. It's leadership that's been forged in a crucible of diligence in technical decision making that can have life and death consequences with inescapable accountability for getting it right. When I look at leadership in the technical side of the Navy today, both uniformed and civilian, I see a nearly monolithic stereotype, and that must change. I feel that our Navy's technical arm has to lead that change because in my command and the Naval Air Systems Command and the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command, together we employ probably about 25,000 engineers, scientists, technicians, and mathematicians. Together, I think that's about 3 to 4% of all of America's technical experts. So that's a lot of clout. So if you're today's technical leadership and you want tomorrow's technical leadership to look more like America, what do? Well, we can do a lot. The question is, will we? And that's the question we asked each other a couple of years ago when we got together with the deans behind me. You'll see the Navy stepping out. You'll see our leadership tonight and tomorrow morning. Admiral Roughhead will be here tonight. Admiral Mullen will be here tomorrow. And it's good that we come to these events, but when we're done speaking, my question to ourselves is, well, what have we truly done to make a difference? So my typical phrase is, talk's cheap, what are you doing? If the Navy judges itself by the standard of actions that we take, compared to our industry partners who help us do all of that neat stuff, we're way behind. In fact, if we don't do better, I feel the nation and the world will pass by the Navy's technical workforce and will become an isolated, stagnant enterprise. We will lack synergy. We will stifle innovation, and in short, the uniformed and civilian side of Navy technical leadership will be a failure. So to me, this is a business imperative. So as we sat down a couple of years ago to try to figure out what would we do, it got pretty hard, and we discovered we didn't have a whole lot of programs, and we weren't putting our money where our mouth is. Well, if you support the world's most advanced Navy today, you need to feed the engine that is high-end knowledge workers, right? I want the smartest people. I want the hardest workers, and I can't be concerned with race, gender, or physical disability. And to get folks on our team, we've got to get our talent from all over America. And from our point, that means less talk, more action. So we are starting to put our money where our mouth is. The systems commands have sat down with the deans of engineering, and we started to get involved. Certainly our time and our personal commitment in terms of all the leadership of my command and NAVAIR and SPAWAR, we're all out and about now. But you still must judge us by our actions and not our words. So the action has started, small steps first. We finally started after clearing the auditors and the bureaucracy and the Washington Post test. We now have set out 11 scholarships, one per school, and Amy is helping us with that. We've budgeted to increase that investment by 11 each year, and for a total we'll have 11 each year. We'll have 44 students as we come through this by September of 2010. That's only one facet of my investment in the HBCUs. We've also funded a capability study through Amy to catalog the combined capabilities of the school in order to get the business side of the systems commands engaged with the smarts side of the HBCUs. And finally, I have a title that's kind of interesting. I'm called the head of the contracting agency. Stuff doesn't get done in my world without a contract. Well, guess what? All the big contracts and all the big plans for those contracts come through me. If you're serious about engaging with small businesses, women-owned businesses, minority businesses, and minority and women institutions, you got to put it in the paper that spends the money, and that's the contract. So now they're all coming through me, and I give them a tough time if I don't see that in there. So we're getting there. Small steps first. We have a very, very long way to go. I need your help. I need your support. I need you to help Amy with the scholarships and with working together as we stumble a couple of times and work on our outreach to the schools. Again, the Naval Air Systems Command, the Naval Sea Systems Command, the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command do neat stuff. We only have to tell the students and sell them on what we do. Actually, it sells itself. But without the help of the leadership in this room, we're not going to get there. So I look forward to more help, more engagement with the deans, more innovation out of this community, and leadership. Leadership of our technical community in the United States Navy. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Admiral Sullivan. Thank you very much. I'm Will Cooksey, and as the outgoing chair of Amy, a role that I've cherished for these past 2 years, and on behalf of the entire Amy board, I want to thank Vice Admiral Sullivan and the command at NAVC for this gracious support of the ideals of Amy. We know that advancing knowledge and educing phenomena from buried possibility takes a vast amount of collaborative effort. It is this kind of commitment that makes these efforts so very powerful, and we're grateful for them. Now, let's take a moment and turn the chair over to my successor, Mr. Joe McElroy. In doing let me say that there has been a greater service than General Motors has afforded me than to serve on the Amy board. And there could not have been a more positive gift to leave Amy with than the one just presented by Admiral Sullivan. Joe, I now publicly relinquish the chair of Amy to you, and could not find a more deserved, capable, and committed hand to leave it with. Ladies and gentlemen, the new chair of Amy, Vice President of Aerotech, Mr. Joe McElroy. Joe?
Thank you, Will, and thank you, Admiral Sullivan. First things first, I want to add my considerable gratitude to NAVC for this most generous gift, and I encourage the rest of you to follow their example. This association of NAVC and Amy exchanging gifts of life for our students at the BEYA Conference and the Power Breakfast before the council of these distinguished deans of HBCUs is a powerful circle. It is this kind of extended collaboration that is going to be required in the most immediate future to keep us triumphantly competitive with the world in the ideas of innovation. In accepting this gift, it gives us at Amy a magnificent opportunity to showcase our aim, which is to seed the future with brilliance and ingenuity forever. Now let me complete this circle by recognizing the considerable contribution of Will Cooksey through the generous support of General Motors, where he worked, to the Amy mission. So on behalf of the Amy board, I want to present this next award to you. Our honoree's General Motors career is the epitome of achievement. In 1972, he began as assistant professor in industrial engineering at the General Motors Institute in Flint, Michigan. In 1993, General Motors sent him to Bowling Green, Kentucky to close the assembly plant and discontinue the coveted Corvette. Since then, the Corvette has received many awards, including America's Best Automobile of the Year and Premium Sports Car, Best Premium Sports Car. In May of 2002, the Bowling Green Assembly Plant was awarded 2 prestigious awards for Best in Segment for the 2nd year in a row and recognized the Assembly Center as North America's Silver Plant. Needless to say, the plant hasn't closed yet. Thanks, Will. But in addition to the stellar achievements in his professional daytime job, he found much time to contribute to the educational development and the advancement of those following in his footsteps. He is a longtime representative of General Motors on the AMY board, dedicated to advancing minorities' interests in engineering, and is the outgoing chairman. In 1997, he received the Black Engineer of the Year President's Award. He is a decorated veteran of the Vietnam War, earning the Bronze Star Medal for his service. And just this week, they announced that they're going to roll off 427 Corvettes, signed by Will Cooksey. What an honor. We are all delighted to present this 2008 BEYA Alumni Group Lifetime Service Award to Mr. Will Cooksey, Jr.
Thanks, Joe. As a matter of fact, my objective when I got there at the Corvette plant was to make certain it did not close, and I did achieve that. So it's not closing. They're in good hands right now, and that's what it's all about. But first, I want to give honor to God, whose grace makes everything possible. I also want to thank Tyrone Taborn, CEO of Career Communications, for all that he does to promote awareness of blacks' contribution in engineering and technology. Tyrone, thank you. I want to also thank my lovely wife, Dr. Elizabeth Cooksey, for always supporting me in all of my efforts to help others to be successful in their chosen career. I want to thank both of my parents, who are now deceased, for their support and guidance during my early years. I want to thank General Motors for supporting my efforts working with advancing minorities' interests in engineering, Tennessee State University, Women of Color in Technology, Black Engineer of the Year Awards, BEYA, 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee, and many other similar organizations. I appreciate everyone's cooperation and help over the years, especially the AMY Engineering Deans in making my job as AMY Chairman of the Board a pleasure to hold. As a young man growing up in Fort Worth, Texas in the 50s and 60s, my mom always stressed the importance of getting a good education. Black role models in engineering and technology were hard to find. Tennessee State University provided me with a good education in electrical engineering. Since graduating in 1965, I worked hard to be that role model that I could not find in the 50s and 60s. I trust that as I look back on my career, that I can say that I made a difference in someone's life. Thank you.
And now joining me for our next presentation is Dean Harris. For over 25 years, our next honoree has taken a leading role in transforming dreams into reality. Since 1982, Cal State Los Angeles has allowed low-income minority students to achieve self-actualization by earning their bachelor's and master's degree. The school's computer science and technology program has ranked among the top 25% of bachelor's and master's producing engineering schools for the past 8 years, with a top ranking of 19th in the year 2000. They have the highest percentage of minority students enrolled in engineering study of more than the 20 major engineering programs in California. I mean, that includes Berkeley, Stanford, and all the good ones.
Outstanding.
They've maintained ABET accreditation from the Engineering Accreditation Commission for the past 25 years and recently received ABET accreditation from the Computer Accreditation Commission for Computer Science program. Their MESA engineering program has served over 2,500 undergraduate students in the STEM disciplines and over 12,000 high school students over its 25-year history. Over the last 10 years, they've graduated 861 minority students, with over 50% of that number from the ABET accredited programs. The person behind the people who made all these accomplishments possible has served as president of Cal State Los Angeles for 29 years. And he's the longest serving president at a comprehensive institution in this nation. We are proud to join the Rosser Revolution for STEM by presenting the BEYA Alumni Group Lifetime Educators Award to Dr. James Rosa.
I came from a single-parent home in a segregated city. When I was 10 years old, an accident injured me and a friend. We were taken to the white-only hospital where she died without treatment. An African-American attorney took our case, and he soon became my surrogate father, literally adopting me and my mother. Subsequently, the thought of becoming someone took on much deeper meaning. I charted an entirely new course, attentive to the importance of education, and particularly to the rigors of science. Moreover, this man taught me explicitly and implicitly how powerful knowledge can be, that it cannot be taken from you, and that it can be applied to advance your life and the lives of others toward greater fulfillment. Thank you, BEYA, for reminding me that my plate is still full.
I invite Dean Deloach to join me for our next presentation. In 1962, while working at Bell Labs, our honoree and colleague patented the Electret microphone that helps convert sound to electrical signals. Almost 90% of the 2 billion microphones produced today are based on the principles developed by our distinguished honoree and his colleague. He spent more than 4 decades with Bell Labs, earning more than 200 patents for his creations. He has also authored or contributed to more than 140 technical papers, and in 2002, he joined the Johns Hopkins University faculty as a research professor in the Whiting School of Engineering. Since joining the Whiting School faculty, he has continued to experiment with new communications materials, including research aimed at reducing hospital noise. He also has been extremely active in programs designed to encourage more minorities and women to enter the fields of science, technology, and engineering. His achievements have led to a plethora of honors. He was elected to the National Academy of Engineering, outstanding, inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame, made a fellow of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers and the Acoustical Society of America, presented the Golden Torch Award at the National Society of Black Engineers, and the Silver and Gold Medals in Engineering Acoustics from the Acoustical Society of America. In 1997, the New Jersey Institute of Technology honored him with an honorary Doctor of Science degree, and in 2006, he was awarded an honorary Doctorate of Engineering from Michigan State University. In introducing our Dean's Award winner, we offer you the President of the United States.
We're having technical difficulties. Please move on.
We can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, the Council of Engineering Deans of Historically Black Colleges and University proudly announces the presentation of the 2008 Black Engineer of the Year Dean's Award to Dr. James West.
It's truly an honor to receive the Black Engineer of the Year Dean's Award. I must first thank my parents for forcing me to develop my mind and my soul. I'm also for my supportive family and my wife, Marin, who's here with us today. I just hope I can make a difference that all of you will be proud of by continuing to improve diversity in science, mathematics, engineering, and technology. During my career at Bell Labs, the Black community within the organization was able to convince management that it was absolutely necessary to sponsor meaningful programs to fund and mentor Black scholars. Some of the products of that program now hold faculty positions at historically Black universities and other institutions of higher learning. These programs have funded and graduated more than 300 PhDs in most of the major disciplines. ABLE, the Association of Black Laboratory Employees, through its hard work, dedicated members, and committed to the education of Black students, sacrifice both time and energy to bring these programs into existence. Today, I am making some progress in carving a lasting relationship between Johns Hopkins University and Morgan State University. One of Morgan State University's faculty, Dr. Jim Whitney, is on sabbatical with me, and together we're establishing a pathway for Morgan State University students to enrich their education by taking courses at Johns Hopkins University. Again, I am very grateful for to this organization for this prestigious award, and thanks to the deans that are at my back. Thank you very much.
It's been an honor for Pamela and for me to MC this event. Bill, is Bill Grimmett here? Should we wrap it up? Right, no. It is my great pleasure to present to you this year's Black Engineer of the Year, Reginald Van Lee.
Good morning and thank you. As an engineering freshman in 1975, I could never have imagined being here in this room today, a room of 1,000 Black engineers, a room of extremely high potential and high achieving Black engineers, a room of the future of America in science, technology, engineering, and math. I couldn't be more proud or happier this morning and this entire weekend, and for two reasons. I'm honored and humbled by receiving this prestigious award, and I'm overjoyed by seeing so many bright, energetic Black engineers making contributions to our country, our communities, and the world. On behalf of myself, the 19,000 employees of the firm where I have lived and loved for 24 years, Booz Allen Hamilton, I want to thank BEYA for providing us all this opportunity to celebrate and share in each other's success. And as a longstanding member of the board of directors of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, I have a deep appreciation of the tremendous contributions of historically black colleges and universities in preparing the next generation of leaders in our country. I applaud the dedication of these deans of engineering, and I ask you to join me in that applause. But most importantly, please join me in supporting the critical work of our historically black colleges and universities, in your financial support, in sharing your time and other resources, in mentoring and encouraging students. This room reflects our future, and from here, it looks very, very bright. I thank you.
It's been our pleasure this morning.
Great pleasure.
We have seen award winners who are like lustrous pearls that have been made, and we've seen those forces that have cultured them. Faithful families. We've seen educators who are dedicated like our deans. And my child who grew up in a multicultural society said, and black folks always have to go to church when they get together, and we have been to church.
Amen.
We have thanked the Lord this morning.
Well,
and it has been my pleasure to Pamela to co-host with you. Thank you so much, deans.
Yes.
And we just wish you a blessed day and event, and we thank you so much for being here this morning.
Have a wonderful day.
We have a special request that all of this morning's award winners please stay for a brief rehearsal of your participation in tonight's gala. Thank you.